The air in the first-class cabin was a silent ballet of luxury and hushed privilege. It smelled of polished leather and expensive perfume. Jasmine, an accomplished architect on her way to close a multi-million-dollar deal, settled into her seat 1A. She adjusted her silk scarf, glanced at the city lights far below, and took a deep, satisfied breath. This was a reward for countless sleepless nights and an unyielding commitment to her craft. A woman, elegantly dressed in a linen suit and carrying a designer bag, stopped at the empty seat beside her, 1B. She was a woman of a certain age, with perfectly coiffed blonde hair and a face that held a permanent expression of mild disapproval. She glanced at Jasmine, her eyes lingering for a second too long. Then she looked at her boarding pass. Her lips pursed in distaste. "Oh, no, this can't be right," she said, her voice a low, clipped murmur. Jasmine looked up confused. "Pardon me?" The woman held up her boarding pass. "This seat, 1B. I'm sure there's been a mistake." "I don't believe so," Jasmine said politely. "The cabin is quite full." The woman waved a hand dismissively. "Not that. I was told I would have a more suitable seatmate. I paid for privacy and a certain level of comfort. This is simply not acceptable." Her eyes flickered over Jasmine's skin, her elegant features, a silent, ugly judgment passing between them. The unspoken message was clear. Jasmine, a black woman, was not a suitable seatmate. Jasmine's smile faded. The polished veneer of the first-class cabin suddenly felt thin, revealing the ugly prejudice beneath. She was calm, though years of navigating similar situations had taught her to keep her composure. "Ma'am, I believe your seat is 1B, and mine is 1A, Jasmine said, her voice firm. "The airline assigned these seats. There is no mistake." The woman huffed, her cheeks flushing with indignation. "I'm not asking you to move. I'm asking the flight attendant. This is a very expensive ticket, and I have certain expectations." She glared at Jasmine, as if this were her fault. She then snapped her fingers at a flight attendant passing by. "Excuse me, I'd like to be moved to another seat." Immediately, the flight attendant, a young man named Tom, approached with a professional smile that quickly faltered as he assessed the situation. He looked from the woman to Jasmine, his expression a mix of embarrassment and pity. "Ma'am, I'm afraid the first-class cabin is completely full. There are no other seats available." "This is outrageous," the woman exclaimed, her voice rising. "I'm a frequent flyer. I will have a word with the captain. I am not sitting next to—" She stopped herself, but the implication hung heavy in the air. Jasmine took a breath, the oxygen feeling thin. The other passengers in the cabin were pretending not to listen, their faces buried in magazines or looking out the window. The humiliation was a cold, quiet burn. The woman was not just complaining about a seat. She was making a public spectacle, trying to belittle and erase Jasmine's presence. This was not just an inconvenience. This was a statement that, in her world, people like Jasmine did not belong, not even in a seat they had earned. But this time, Jasmine wouldn't just sit there. She had her own statement to make. She had her own words to use. And she was about to deliver a lesson that the woman would never forget, not even in her private little world. And